Persona 3 Reloads episode Aigis the Answer, which I will now refer to as episode Aigis for the rest of this video, came out a little bit ago, and I figured it's about time I talk about it because I've beat it, I've had some time to reflect on it, and yeah. And also, I'm going to be calling the original version the Answer just to make my vocabulary clear. So when I say episode Aigis, I mean the Reload version. When I say the Answer, I mean the Fest version. Um, So I feel like there's no better place to start than talking about the pre-release. Which to that I say I forgot this thing was even coming out. It wasn't until the marketing kind of ramped up the last month or so before release, um, that I remembered like, oh yeah, this thing's coming out. I forgot because it got announced in March, I think, and I was like, sure, whatever. If I like, I was still in the middle of my reload video, and I was like, yeah, sure, like maybe I'll talk about it when it comes out. I don't know. And I that was kind of like the last thing I thought about it. I kind of forgot it was happening, because the rest of the expansion pass is very just not really noteworthy at all because it's music and costumes, and I'm pretty sure the music was already in the game anyway, so I'm pretty sure you could just cheat it in anyway. But it came out. I remembered its existence like a month before it came out, and I was getting like weirdly excited about it. As someone who doesn't really like the original, as someone who doesn't like the answer, I was very not looking forward to Reload's version, but I was at the same time, right? I was going into it with an open mind. I wasn't going into it being like, I'm gonna hate this. This is gonna suck. I was going into it like, I didn't like the answer, but maybe episode I guess will be better, right? Maybe they'll actually, take the chance to improve things. And they did, to be fair, to give them credit. They did absolutely improve things, which I'm about to talk about, but I don't know. I'm still kind of mixed on it. So jumping forward to, I guess now, do I think it's worth the money? Absolutely not. No. Buy the expansion pass on sale when it's like $20 because I really do not think it's worth the $35 price tag. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know why they made it $35, but that was a horrible decision. And even as like a mega shill for this game, I still wouldn't even spend 35 on it. Like, I am sad that I spent $35 on the expansion pass. So get it if it ever goes on sale, or if you can find it somewhere cheaper, or if you can game share it with somebody. Awesome. Because $35 is way too much for it, in my personal opinion. The main problem that a lot of people had with the original was the combat, because fast combat isn't exactly the most beloved thing in the world. And I can understand that. As somebody who doesn't hate the fast combat system, I still didn't like the answer because of the boss battles. I thought the boss battles were kind of BS. I thought it was dumb that the only way they could really make them harder than base game was to give them 3 times evade skills for their weaknesses. So you basically just couldn't hit anything ever. It sucked. It really did. And in Reload, they nerfed it to dodge, which I believe is only times 2. I could be getting that wrong, but I'm pretty sure they nerfed it to only a times 2 evasion rate against their weakness, which is better, obviously. But I don't know, it's still just kind of annoying, right? But the standard enemy encounters are also a lot harder than base games, and I actually do kind of like that because, as much as I love Reload's combat, it did just kind of become like a multi-target skill, all-out attack win simulator, right? I didn't really get to use some of its mechanics to like their fullest, like shifting and all that. Or actually, no, I don't even think I did that. I think I just physicaled everything to death in the late game reloads. So, and I mean, to be fair, you can still kind of do that here as well. You can still physical your way to the end game, but the enemy encounters are a lot more varied now, where you do need like good elemental coverage, and I do like that. I do like that the standard enemy encounters are harder. I also think something that makes episode Aigis better is the selectable difficulty. You're not locked into one difficulty anymore, which I think is also going to help a lot of people actually play it because, the original locking you to hard and the not so beloved combat system definitely did not help a lot of people's opinions on the answer. Again, I don't care about the combat system. I just thought the boss fights were pretty unfun. And speaking of difficulty, I chickened out. I played on normal. I didn't play on heartless. I wanted to. I fully intended to. And then I got to the first door boss, and I'm like, this is going to take me significantly longer to the point where I don't even know if I'll finish it within the month. So I'm just gonna dumb it down to normal. And I got through it in about like a week and a half, I think. It took me about a week and a half. And I think it took me like 20 something hours to beat it, so but I think for normal it felt pretty fine on the difficulty front. It was it was fine. I don't really have any complaints about it, except the boss fights, but that's not a difficulty thing, that's a mechanic thing. The Abyss of Time, um, it's a lot better, obviously, because it takes after Tartarus a lot. It's got these, dungeons that feel like they're more immersive than the originals, which, I could say the same for Tartarus as well. The immersion's a lot better. The visuals are a lot better. The generation it's similar to Tartarus at times, but I do feel like they do spice it up um with some new generation characteristics, and the visuals are like pretty heavily inspired from Tartarus, but they're different enough to where I think it's fine. But not having like the social sim aspects to break the monotony up of just combat really sucks. Because I understand why, because story reasons, they're trapped in the dorm the entire time. But and they do try to remedy it with like dorm events and whatnot, and obviously the little story blurbs at the end of every door. But excuse me, um I don't know, it's just so few and far between, especially because these floors just feel like they take longer to get through. I don't know if it's just a psychological thing or what, but Abyss of Time feels like it takes so much longer to get through than Tartarus did. Even though Tartarus technically took longer to get through because it's spread out over the entire 100-hour game, whereas Abyss of Time's in a 20-hour game. But I don't know, Abyss of Time just felt more sluggish and more repetitive to get through. Maybe it's because you didn't have anything to break up the monotony of it. So I don't know. But the environmental design of Abyss of Time is really good. I just wish there were 6 environments instead of 5. And hell, for like half the game, you only have 4 environments, and they don't introduce the 5th one until like one of the last few doors. So you're just seeing the same environment like over and over and over. It's not like Tartarus where it's like once you see a new environment, that's kind of all you'll see for a bit, and then you'll move on. Which, I mean, some may prefer that. I personally prefer that because it creates thematic consistency, which is something I didn't really like about the original. But now that I've replayed it and it's fresh in my mind, I'm like, oh yeah, I like that they changed up the environments every mid boss, because I think it would probably drive me more insane if they didn't. But I don't know. I just like the thematic consistency of Tartarus, where each level of Tartarus, each block has its own unique aesthetic, and I would have liked to see that for the Abyss of Time, but oh well. Um, in terms of like the actual visuals, they're either on par or better than Tartarus's. I do like that there's like I do like that there's that green tint isn't there anymore, because like I don't know, something about the green tint at times looked a little off. And so to see like reload dungeons without that green tint is weird, but I really like it. So because sometimes it's just too green, but whatever. I'm not talking about reloads visuals anymore. So the menus are the Makoto menus, but with Aigis's model just, you know, placed in them. And pre-release, I didn't like it as much. Like the menus, like I always thought the menus looked good, but I always just thought it looked kind of weird with Aigis. Like I don't know because you can clearly tell that the menus were not designed with Aigis in mind. They were very clearly designed with Makoto. But the more I played, the more I saw these menus, I was like, I actually kind of like these. Like, I think these look really good, and it holds the thematic angle of like, she was thrown into his place as the wild card user and whatnot. So it works. It works thematically, and I think visually it looks really good too. So menus are they're good as usual, because that's one thing that everyone can pretty much agree that Atlas does right. So seeing new theories for Aegis was pretty cool, but I do kind of wish that they gave us more new theories rather than reusing so many from Makoto. I get that they probably didn't have the time or budget to make new theories. Well, new in quotations because they're just the best ones, but it would have been cool to see, I guess, have like an entirely different list of theurgies from Makoto, except for, Cadenza can stay the same because I feel like it's the fusion spell or it's the theurgy, right? But I do wish that I guess got more unique ones with, maybe Cadenza and Armageddon, but remaining, but oh well. It's still cool that we even got new ones for I guess, and it was pretty cool. Being able to carry over your compendium. I mean, I don't really have an opinion on it because it's kind of a whatever mechanic because the compendiums are the same. At least I believe they're the exact same. And it's more expensive to pull from Reload's compendium. And money feels kind of scarce in the answer. Or, sorry, in episode, I guess. And, you're going to want, like, healing items and stuff. So, I don't know. Twilight Fragments were about my opinion on them from Reload. They're okay. And now we get into the controversial topic, the story. I think that it's an overall improvement. I think it is vastly better than the original. The pacing is still really weird because you work through like an entire door and then you get to the end and then you see a backstory blurb and that's cool and all. It kind of doesn't really feel. It's just kind of whatever, really. Like, sure. Um, and then you get to, the infamous Yukari scene that everyone either loves or hates, and I'm kind of in the middle now. Before I used to just not really like that scene. I thought it was just whatever. I didn't really like it. But now in Reload, they've redone this scene. Like I don't know what to what extent they did it because I don't remember the full thing from the original. But I didn't I felt like I actually kind of knew where Yukari was coming from, even if I don't agree with her line of thinking, even if I don't share the belief of like you should go back and try to change things from the past. It just felt a lot more. I don't know, human maybe. I don't really know if that's the right word. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But basically, I didn't hate the scene as much as I did before. I still don't really like that Mitsuru just kind of joins Yukari. I don't really remember if there was a reason she joined. She was just like, I'm just gonna stand with Yukari, and it's like, why? I'm just gonna stand with Yukari. Don't question. Like, okay. Um, I don't know. And another thing with the story is that I don't like that they. I always found that the ending to Persona 3 was it was beautiful and it didn't really need to be elaborated or expanded or explored. Kind of a show don't tell kind of thing. Or yeah, because you have the next fight and then you have a lot of context clues after that fight that tell you that they're subtly hinting at yeah, maybe show don't tell's not the right thing. It's just the first thing I thought of because I'm illiterate, but I liked the ending of P3 and how it didn't explicitly tell you what happened to Makoto, but there was if you did all the social links and you read all their dialogue and you did stuff like look in the mirror, um, and whatnot, you could tell what was happening to Makoto. You could tell what was about to happen, and especially with the ending, the actual ending, like the cutscene, the song, and whatnot. It's telling you without telling you, right? It's implying. It's making very heavy implications without just outright telling you. And I kind of like that, right? I do like that. I absolutely love it. And the answer in episode I guess just kind of take a crap all over that, and they show and tell explicitly what happened at the end of the fight that Makoto used up his life essence to seal Nyx away, or to have his soul in front of a door or something. I don't know. Insert like funny Dorkun joke here or something. I don't fucking know. But I liked the ending of P3 because they didn't explicitly say what happened, right? And I kind of liked that because I mean that's just how a lot of things go in life. You're not really gonna get the answer to everything. And they just kind of took a crap on it with the epilogue, like, oh yeah, here's exactly what happened and whatnot. Um, in terms of the cutscenes, they're all right. Um, they nerfed the funny cutscene of Makoto turning into a skeleton after you defeat him. With the I think the last door. There's not that many because it's a pretty short expansion and there's not really a lot of room for cutscenes anyway, but they look good. The music, the opening's good. The new battle theme's good. Some of the mixes are good. The 331 mix is horrible. I don't know why they did that to that track. I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't. Because holy crap, that thing sounds awful. It is probably the first mix to come out of Reload that I genuinely just think is like truly awful, even after hearing it. And that must be why they never play it again after like the opening bit. And of course the title screen changes after you beat the game. And I like it. I like Reloads more because Reload's main menu went from this kind of dark, moody, title screen with. I don't think there was music. There might have been like wind sound effects or something. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've seen the base game menu, but and then you go from that to this to the post game like screen where it's got the piano in the background and it's got the sakura trees outside and you got the armband and the evoker on the desk and whatnot. It's a very beautiful title screen change. The episode aigis one just goes from like basically the same kind of moodiness of the of Reload's like first title screen with Brand New Days the beginning playing in the background, and then you go from that to like the outside of the dorm, but Brand New Days beginning is still playing. So, oh yeah, I guess that's what I could talk about too. The ending cinematic, the credits. It it honestly looks really good. I might prefer the ending cinematic over Reloads, maybe. I really just like the colors and the art style of it. Brand New Days Reload as well is pretty good. Um, so I think the visuals of it are really good. Um, and I think I've run out of things to talk about. I think that's everything. So probably a bit of a shorter video because it's a shorter experience. So um, yeah, I think that's everything I had to say. Sorry for another unscripted garbage video. um, I promise the next videos I make will be scripted, actual edited, like the final shape video, which by the way, thank you for the support on that video. It's felt pretty good, but I will see you next time. Stay hydrated and take care.